This is Earl Amin with the 2020 Foresight Podcast, where CEOs of small to global companies share their insights. It is 6 questions in 9 minutes because top CEOs know how to listen and be concise. So let's get to it. First of all, welcome. And in just a few sentences, tell us who you are and what you do.
Great to be here and appreciate having a few minutes of your time. So to get right to it, my name is David Grossman and I'm the CEO and owner of Renue Systems, Chicago-based, very focused company that provides highly specialized cleaning services to the hospitality industry. We are both an operator and a franchisor with 30 locations across the US and a growing number of other countries.
Outstanding. Wow, David, tell me, what's the best thing about being the CEO of your company?
The best thing, I'm glad you asked that first, is primarily setting my own schedule. And I wasn't always having the luxury of doing that. When I first bought the company 11 years ago in 2010, I was very much in the weeds. We had a lot of operations that we needed to clean up and we were a smaller enterprise. But the team is seasoned and we've gotten a lot of the kinks out of the system. So while I'm still very involved, it's freed me up to focus more on growth opportunities and a more flexible schedule.
Outstanding. And so it should be. Now, I'm sure in your own experience, as is certainly in mine, you've spoken with other CEOs that will tell you that leading their team can be a bit of a challenge, seeing the road ahead. What are your thoughts?
It certainly is the case. And that is really one of my responsibilities for my employees and for my franchisees. And the way that we do this is really being very customer focused, taking a playbook out of Amazon who's customer obsessed. That's really what we do is we really talk to a lot of customers. We talk to a lot of suppliers, a lot of partners, even some competitors to keep an angle on the customers, what their needs are, and even trying to anticipate what their needs are and the changing marketplace that may be around the corner that will certainly affect them and us.
Indeed, indeed. Well, let me ask this, in all of your experience and experiences, what piece of insight do you want to share with other CEOs?
Yeah, I think probably the biggest is really to read a lot. And maybe I have the luxury of doing that because I have some time and don't have to be in the weeds of the business so much. But it's really freed me up to read, to go to trade shows, to when we have trade shows again, and to explore a lot of things. Yes, a number of those are directly related to my business, trade magazines, things like that. But I read a lot of other things about business, even some non-business, a lot of US publications, but even international publications, which really actually do come in handy quite a bit of trying to forecast what's happening to my industry and just learning a lot, how other people operate well, don't operate well, and challenges that the world is facing. So reading a lot, trying to talk to a lot of people, networking, even if it's not directly in my line of business per se, but I find that that's very helpful for me in running the business, but also healthy because I can keep learning and try to pass down some of those lessons to my employees and my franchisees. So we're really pushing the learning aspect, whether it's directly related to business or just making us a better people and smarter people.
Very good. Very good. Well, in all of that gathering of wisdom that you now have, I'm sure you've met other CEOs, your contemporaries. What other successful CEOs like yourself would you like to acknowledge and should be on my podcast?
Yeah, well, the ones I'll acknowledge, if you can get them on your podcast, all the better. Some of the more publicized people, and I say this because I really have a lot of respect. Three come to mind. Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, and Tim Cook at Apple. I just have a tremendous amount of respect for what they do for their companies and just continuing to perform well and build great enterprises with great employees. Many other great CEOs out there, but these are the ones that clearly are highly visible, and there's a lot to read about them. So I follow them very religiously. If I had to say, I guess as the CEO of a small company, but very instrumental, a great author is Jim Collins, and anything he says or the opportunity to listen to him is something I highly recommend anyone do.
Very good. Thank you for that. So David, now for the final question, how do you celebrate a win?
We celebrate them briefly. Publicize it. I tell our team what happened and why it's important for us. But we then try to debrief. What do we do well that led to this win? And on the flip side, I actually focus more on when we don't win and what we can learn from when we don't have a success and try to improve from that. So maybe that's not the best cheerleading, but that's the way our organization works, just to always try to keep growing, celebrate briefly, and but we can keep improving. Indeed.
Well, David, it's been a pleasure having you on today. Tell me, how can people find you?
Our website is renuesystems.com, and let me spell that for you. It's RENUE Systems. So RENUESYSTEMS.com. And again, David Grossman, I head up the company. Feel free to email myself. Information's on the website, and I'd be more than happy to talk to you about any of these topics.
Outstanding. This is Earl Amin with the 2024 Side Podcast. For more insights, go to LinkedIn and search for The Gray Owl Company. David, thank you very much.
It's been great to be here.